Please help me in welcoming Laurie Wondra.
Good morning. Let's just take a deep breath and just become present. A little feedback, a little electrical charge. I was giggling when you said to turn off the phones because I shut mine off because it's been known to go on by itself. So a lot of electricity. It's really humid and I'm already feeling, pardon? I'm already feeling the healing energy that's coming in. And so today we're going to talk about revealing purpose. Many people come and ask me about what's my purpose in life. And I like to think about it as living a purposeful life. So we're going to talk about that today and how do we reveal those things in our life. I'm going to share a little bit about where we are in the energy and why it's so fun to be standing here today, right after the solstice, as we go into the summer energies, what's ahead of us. And then I'm going to finish with a meditation at the end and leave time for questions, all right? I welcome questions because we have curious minds and that's how we learn as a teacher. I'm already getting into channel mode. And so as driving here this morning, I'm like, okay, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want to share with the group? And around revealing purpose, how many of you, go back to your high school days, your college days, how many of you knew exactly what you were going to do, who you were, and you're there today? There's no hands. And how many of you would say, my life is perfect right now? I'm in perfect financial situation, perfect relationship, perfect job, perfect home. I feel great. No hands again. But yet, yes, one hand. Yay, yay. But yet, we have this expectation that that's how we're supposed to be. And that's how we're supposed to live. Does that make sense? We have this expectation. So we're going to talk about expectations today too, and how do we level set that? And how do we be open to what Spirit is really providing us at this time? So let's talk about the summer of portals right now. Solstice. We just hit summer solstice, and that created this huge, huge portal that some of us have already begun to step through. And when I say step through, it's like you've been talking to the universe. And when I say talk to the universe, think about conversing with the universe. Not just focusing and setting your intents out to the universe, like, I want this, I want this, I want this, please give me this. But it's listening. Because if you sit down to dinner with somebody, you're conversing with them. Or at least I hope you're conversing with them. It's a two-way conversation. And the universe wants us to have that two-way conversation. So if you've been talking to the universe, this portal begins to provide that gateway for the universe to communicate back to you and to help you adjust, okay? And then we have a new moon eclipse on July 3rd. You guys know about eclipses? I'm smiling because I always get excited. They come in sets of 2 about every 6 months. So we have 2 in July. The fact that we have 2 in 1 month is kind of magical also, and it's a new moon. And eclipses end an old phase. So if we think about before the solstice, we ended a big phase and now we're stepping into a new phase. So the universe begins to reveal to you what's next for you in the next 6 months. Does that make sense? So on this July 3rd, it's like it's another great time to tell the universe or converse with the universe. This is what I want. This is what's showing up for me. Then we have a full moon eclipse mid-month, July 16th, I think it is, 15th, 16th, somewhere around there. 16th, thank you. And that's where we shed anything that's holding us back, so things start to fall away. And in my world, everything's energy. So when I see you, everything is energy. But things begin to fall away. That might include relationships, beliefs, jobs, homes, patterns. Things begin to fall away. And that can be incredibly uncomfortable for us, right? We like stability, we like stable, we like constant, but we are not in a time of constance right now. We are in a time of shifting. How many of you are feeling that? This shifting, lots of hands this morning. Then we have another new moon at the end of the month, July 31st. So we have 2 new moons in July, and they call that a blue moon when there's 2 within 1 month. And that allows us another opportunity to readjust or communicate again to the universe. So again, think about these as gateways. So I've talked about 4 already, the solstice, the new moon, the full moon, and now a new moon again. But we go into August, it continues in August with the Lion's Gateway, August 8th through the 12th, and then the full moon on August 15th. And then we get a little break after that. So it's a summer of opportunity. And then there's planets in there. We've got a Mercury retrograde. Those are all just helping us kind of assess. We gather, just like big computers, we gather data and then we bring it inside and we kind of churn it. But what's happening for us in these portals is each portal or each gateway that we go through, we adjust our vibration. How many of you have been feeling kind of edgy? You know, can't sleep at night, maybe your digestive system is off, you're triggered, you have less patience. Yeah, I'm seeing some nodding. That's our vibration that's hitting us. And so as we experience this vibration, we are changing. Do not expect to go through this summer and through these portals without change. Okay? And when we say, I just want peace in our life, or I just want joy, we're forever on that search. So let's go back to revealing purpose, and let's go back to like those high school days or those college days. And I want you to think about maybe some jobs you had. And this week I had an opportunity. I was with a peer. We were headed up north to go visit a property for a retreat, and we were talking about our backgrounds. And I said, how did you get to the point that you are today? She's a manager of a wellness center. And she said, well, I didn't go to college. I decided I didn't want to go to college because I didn't want to spend the money on something I might not want to do. That sound familiar? If you've got kids, that might be a reference point for a lot of what the kids are feeling today or our youth are feeling today. But she spent time as a barista, as a bartender, doing some retail. She worked for the power company, laying out lines, power lines for a while. And she found her way into managing a wellness. And she's like, I think it found me. Isn't that magical? And I said, so without a search, she just said yes. And we were very aligned in that. I could go back to my youth. I managed a campground when I was in high school. I'd go after work, and I'd work at this campground, and then I'd work on the weekends, and I loved it. It was fun. I was 16, 17, and the owner was out of state, so he put his trust in me. I learned a lot, managing people, managing money, schedules, campers and clients that had been on the road all day, and they were just crabby. But at some point along the way, I needed to be done with that, and I, too, went on that search, worked in a hardware store. And then one day, a friend of mine said she was going to register for college. So I'm like, I'll drive with you. She didn't register, I did. For information technology. And we have a background. So I went that route of information technology. Somebody I worked with here years ago. So I went that route of information technology, always having the spiritual. And there were bumps along the way. But at that point, when I was registering for college, I did not think or anticipate that I'd be standing here today. And I'll just say, I love my life. I feel like I have the best life, but I know better. Spirit is always going to shift me, always. And so in these gateways, be prepared that universe and spirit is always going to shift you. You're never done. And all you really have to do, the magic nugget, is to say yes. So I want you to pause just a moment and think back to like your earlier years. And if you're in a job or a relationship, something that's just not fitting you right now, think in your mind, I am here today because I'm learning something. And everything that I've experienced in the past has gotten me to this point, and everything up to this point will make me or propel me going forward. So it might not be showing up just yet, but it's coming. Does this make sense? So let's talk about level setting expectations and the expectation that I should know. Does anyone say that? That kind of spins? I should just know. I'm at this age, I'm at this part in my life. I better have figured it out. You know what? We're here on earth. I'm seeing a lot of shaking heads, yes. We're here on earth to figure it out. And we won't be done figuring it out. Because the minute we figure something out, the universe says, time to grow again. Time to keep moving through these portals. So this summer, in the summer of portals, watch for what's showing up for you. Because the universe is always conversing, and the universe is always giving you messages. Let's talk about some of those messages that might come to you. The animals. Anybody having animals show up? Pay attention to the animals. Pay attention to the music that you hear, the signs that you are seeing. Pay attention to the people that are coming into your life. They are revealing something to you. Some of my most challenging clients or managers or people I've worked with have propelled me the most. And I'm in gratitude of those. It wasn't comfortable at that time, but I'll tell you, I can look back and say, oh, that's the reason for that. So oftentimes, as we have this expectation, we don't pause long enough to just sit back and say, wow, look at where I am and what got me here. And then stop with that. Don't continue to look backwards. Think about where you might want to go. So in these portals, it's also a time to focus, to set your intent. What do I want? And how do we know what we want? By experiencing what we don't want. The only way we know what we want is by experiencing what we don't want or that's uncomfortable. So a job, for example, where it gets uncomfortable, it's the universe pushing you, I need to move on. A relationship, a home, food we're putting into our body, those types of things. We need to get uncomfortable to shift. And I'll tell you that we're moving out of the mode of survival. And so some of you, as I look at your energy fields, survival was a factor for many of you in past lifetimes, and maybe a little bit in this lifetime too. But we're moving out of that place of survival, where it's a matter of, I know I'm okay. I know the universe provides for me. I don't have to worry about survival. Now I'm on that road of thriving. And that's very different for us. So let me just ask, how many do you feel like you're thriving right now? And that's a big word because the definition can expand. It's kind of like success, right? It's personal success. What does thriving mean? To understand where you are, it's to be present. Be present. So just take a deep breath and be present. And just acknowledge where you are today in your life. Where are those things that you have experienced? What are those things that have brought you to this point? Let's talk about what have you learned? What have you learned? Emotions? Is anyone learning emotions? The universe reveals to us through exposing our emotions. And so sometimes as we go through these portals, what's happening in the energy field is the etheric energy layer around us has flattened, and it makes us raw. Quite honestly, it's like running around the universe with no clothes on, and you're raw. And so we have come to a point in our evolutionary process that we need to move, we need to shift. And so our soul is saying we're going to flatten this energy field, this protection field around our physical being and open ourselves up. And so as the universe begins to allow us to reveal who we are, we experience the emotions. That's our internal compass. That's our soul speaking to us. And in this lifetime, for most of you, it is that alignment of the soul and the human experience. It's the alignment of the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, the energetic bodies. Okay? And we would continue to just be in that survival mode if our souls didn't step in and say, okay, we're going to push you. We're going to push. In past lifetimes, again, survival was you had to learn to hunt or to adapt to the elements in order to survive. But in this lifetime, we get to adapt to the energy frequency in order to thrive. Does that make sense? So it's no longer surviving, it's thriving. So let's talk about what's happening on our globe or on the planet. So lots of water, and again, it's lightly raining out today, but we've had a cool spring, lots and lots of water. Our body is 70 to 80% water. And we contain memory in our DNA, we contain memory in our body. And the vibration coming in as we stand here, as I'm standing here, I'm picking up vibration underneath me, I'm picking up vibration coming in. But it's shaking the water in my cells. So some of you might be feeling edgy. I'm watching energy, so I'm just going to have you keep breathing. I tell you, my hands are like fire right now as I'm moving some energy. So as we feel this shaking of this energy, we're connected to Mother Earth. We're connected to the vibrational change, the vibration frequency uplift and lowering. It's like a big roller coaster on the planet, and it's shaking stuff out of our DNA, or it's shaking stuff out of our cellular structure, out into this emotional area that we're already raw, right? So that we can release it. And as quickly as we release it, we have more coming in. As quickly as you can release it, there's more coming in. And the reason that I'm seeing this around people is because in the past, we've done a lot of work. And how many of you might say, I've just done a lot of work on my emotional, my childhood healing. I've done a lot of work, but it seems to keep bubbling up. Anyone feeling that? It just keeps bubbling up. Well, there's a space in there that when we do that healing, if we haven't filled it in, it comes back, or something else of that same frequency fills in. So what the universe is doing through these portals is bringing more light. So the Schumann resonance has been going up and down the frequency around the planet in order to give us pulsing energy to fill in. So as we're shedding, as we go through these portals, as we're shedding energy, there's always a push. There's always a push. And that might create that restlessness in you. Sleepless nights, digestion, headaches, sinus, that type of thing. All right? Questions on that? They're telling me to pause. Questions? Are you guys feeling it here? Yes? Here. Yeah, I'm moving some energy. That's why I'm just giving you a little pause. Yep, in the back. Giving you a little pause to just breathe in the energy and anchor it in for just a moment. You know, Gary, I'm wondering, can we do a meditation now? I just want to, because I'm just seeing a lot of energy hovering above, so if I could just have some light music, that'll make us feel better. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing like waves of energy above you guys, and so I just want to like bring it in a little bit more. So take a deep breath, and you can relax your feet on the floor. And I'm going to invite you to create an image of these portals. A big portal, and then a secondary portal, and a third, preparing your physical being, preparing your energetic body, your mental, your spiritual, just preparing yourself to go through these gateways. And as you take a deep breath, allow the energy to come down. Think of a beam of light coming in through the top of your head. And if you're feeling some pressure there, just allow yourself to breathe. Don't be thinking about where it's going. Just allow it to go where it needs to go. We're going to ask this energy flow to come through and to clear from us any blockages, any energy that might be stuck, stagnant. And just allow that energy to come in. Perhaps feeling it on the top of the head, on the forehead, perhaps in the back of the throat. But allowing it to move down into the heart area. And we're going to activate the compass, the heart compass. And you might see colors, you might have a visual. You might not see anything. You might just be breathing. But I invite you to invite this energy into your heart. And as your heart fills up, allow this energy to move anywhere. You might feel it move down your back. It might move back up into your head. It might move all the way down to your feet. Just continuing the flow of energy to move through you. And imagine yourself now stepping through this big portal. And in speaking to your angels, your guides, to the universe, maybe sending a message out as to what you desire, what you want, what's important. And this can be for you, it can be for your family, loved ones. And asking the universe to listen to your messages and to bring back any messages or guidance for you. To make those messages so incredibly clear that you never have to wonder, is this a message? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? That there's clarity. And as you allow this energy to move back now to your heart and to fill your heart, I welcome you to come back into your physical being. Coming back to present, knowing that you've anchored this energy, you've stepped through this portal. You step through the first gateway. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. How did that feel? I see some of you, the emotion or tears. Isn't that divine love? How powerful is that? I need to make sure everybody's back. So revealing purpose, so some things for you to work on or some things for you to do this summer is be active and say yes. And during these planetary retrogrades, sometimes the energy gets intense. We just want to be home alone. Is anyone experiencing that? I just want to be home alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. But this is a time, it's important to have that because that's good processing time for you, and our systems need processing time. But also say yes to those things. So notice when the universe is giving you opportunity to step out into the world, to experience something new. Okay? And again, the only way that you will continue to evolve is to understand what you don't like. That's your course correcting. I don't like this, so now I'm going to redirect here. We hear a lot about manifestation and setting intents and focus. And somewhere along the line, that's got muddled. And we believe that if I focus hard enough and focus long enough, it's going to happen. Does anyone believe that? But the frustration comes in because it never seems to happen. And the example that I use is that if you're shopping, I think I want a yellow Corvette, and that's all I'm looking for is that yellow Corvette. I'm looking for it, I'm pricing it, I'm watching for that perfect vehicle, and it never shows up. But the universe keeps giving me this blue, let's say BMW over here. But I'm not even looking over here because I'm focused over here. So with manifestation, the law of manifestation is it needs to be aligned to what your soul purpose is. And quite honestly, maybe I'm not supposed to have either of them. But if I'm so focused on one, I miss the opportunity of the other to come into my life. And that's what some of these portals, when the universe is speaking to us, the universe is giving us subtle clues and hints to say, don't look over here. That Corvette could leave you on the side of the road 5 years from now, where this vehicle over here is going to take you 10 years down the line. And I'm sorry if there's any Corvette fans in here. But pay attention to what the universe is showing you. And if you've been working on manifesting something for a long time, like years, and you're feeling frustrated, it's just not showing up, check your story. Just check your story. Sometimes we've been given stories in our youth. I'm going to go back to high school, college days, where you've been given a story. You are so good at this. I think you should go do this as a career. Or I think you should do this. We've been handed a story. And then along our life, we have gathered people that reaffirm that story for us. There might have been people along the way that say, no, I don't think that fits you, but we don't listen. We look for the people that align us to that story. We hang on to that story. And that story might not be aligned to our soul. So now is also the time to check your stories. What story have you been telling yourself for a long time, over and over and over again? And maybe you have a whole host of family or friends, or you've built your life around a story, but you're still not quite where you want to be. But again, the universe is showing you these great opportunities over here, but you're ignoring it because this is what my focus is. And believe me, we are the best storytellers ever. We are. We know the plot. We know the outcome. We know the roles. We're comfortable, even if it has an unhappy ending. We're happy with it because we know that pathway. Does that make sense? And now is the time to rewrite your stories. To tell the universe, this maybe was my story for X amount of years, however old you are, but now I'm going to start on this story. And it might be subtle. I'm not saying you got to totally, burn the book over here or you burn your story. It might be subtle by making adjustments along the way. Because again, as humans, we don't like huge change. And sometimes the universe gives us subtleties along the way. Okay? Can you identify with the stories? I'm seeing some light go on here. All right, questions this morning. I want to open it up for questions. Yes? We have a microphone. What I ask is that you wait for the microphone to ask your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I work in a community, and I've spoken about this community here before in the past. It's a lot of poverty, drug addiction, and things of that nature. I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. There's a lot of turmoil, disconnect, and that story you're talking about, I put myself there as if I'm to help. I was born to help, but it's crushing me. And for my purpose, I would like to know if there's a message for me or to guide me, to help me if it's painful.
Okay. Thank you for that, because we are all light. And part of the summer solstice or winter solstice, Festival of Lights, we celebrate the light that we are. And I would say my own experience, going back to my full-time days in corporate America, I would ask, why is Spirit putting me here? Why am I in this technology field sitting in Brazil? And many of us can relate to that. Why am I here? It's to shine your light in that situation. And what will help you through those times where it's incredibly challenging is to remember, I have light. I am light. I'm here to shine light, and give it over to the light. So if you find yourself in a difficult situation and you feel like I'm only like this, I'm this one person in this magnitude of this, whatever it is you're experiencing, shine your light, give the situation over to the divine light to cast the light in. And sometimes as humans, we get frustrated because we want to be like the Mother Teresa of the world, right? We want to but it just takes one little light. If you impact one person, it has that ripple effect. And remember that. The other thing I would say to that is self-care, is making sure that you've got routines, because what I'm picking up for you, dear, is that you just live it, breathe it. Like you don't get a break from it. Is that true? Like you bring it home with you. And so you need to have that self-care. You need to make sure that you have the balance, the yin and the yang. So if you're in, I don't want to say darkness, but heavy energy, make sure the rest or other parts of your life are uplifted or in a high vibration, okay? Because otherwise you'll be in this perpetual low vibration, okay? You're there for a reason. I don't know that you're going to be there forever, but right now, that's where Spirit wants you to be. And in situations like that, it's like, okay, this is really uncomfortable. What I did in my corporate days is I knew at some point I would be exiting. I just didn't know when. And I finally gave up the frustration and just said, okay, I'm here. Put me where you need me to be, right? And it's like that relinquishing that control or the need to control is just, I'll be here as long as I'm needed. Okay? Does that help? Yeah. Thank you for that question. And I'm guessing that others in this room can also relate to that. You're in a situation that the vibration is off. And keep in mind that with these portals, as you're aware of these portals and you're stepping through the portals and the universe is giving you more energy, those that are not aware of the portals are like, what the heck is going on? And so it creates a greater vibrational variance between. So you actually have to shine your light more. Okay? And there's reason for these portals opening in June, July, and August. The sun, we start to lose, I hate to say this because we've been waiting for summer and the daylight, right? But we start to lose daylight as we head into winter now. But there's a reason the portals are coming now, and the reason that there's so much light coming into the planet is so that we can do this work. Okay? All right, other questions? Yes, wait for the mic.
Thank you so much for this. I'm in the process of rewriting my story, as you were mentioning, and unfortunately, part of rewriting my story means that I'm gonna break the hearts of the two people that love me the most. And I've been asking the universe to help me do it with love and light, and if you have any,
Any guidance on that?
yeah, to help ease their pain as I rewrite my story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what if, let's flip the lens on that a little bit. What if part of what you're experiencing in your role is to help them understand a different role they get to play? So you have a perspective and an expectation that you're going to break their hearts. And they might feel that pain. But what if on a greater universal, a greater lifetimes, let's talk about lifetimes, there's a greater reason for that. And we have to begin to think about the greater reasons than just right now. And I want everybody to be present right now because that gives you clues. But we're clearing stuff 7 years back and preparing for 7 years forward. And scientifically now they're starting to test that it's actually 14 years in our genetics and DNA. So what if there's a greater purpose or a greater reason on this? And I think for you, dear, is just to talk. It's that reassurance. It's that talking. Communication is so important. And I would just say we've got Mercury retrograde coming in July. It's almost the entire month of July. And Mercury is about communication and travel and contracts. And so in that communication, contemplate, meditate, prepare before you speak. And don't give up. If you have a conversation and it doesn't go so well, don't give up. Go back and have it again. And that's why also these portals, it's giving us the opportunity to continue to go back and adjust and adjust and adjust. Honestly, I don't feel like it's going to be so devastating as you might believe. Oftentimes our mind, here's where the mental body comes in. Have you ever said yes to something because it sounded really fun and then you get to the event and you're like, what the heck did I just sign up for? I've done that a lot. I challenge myself, whether it's ziplining or skydiving or whatever it is, and then I get there and I'm like, why did I say yes for this? But the mind plays games, and we do that with our emotions too. We fixate on, what is this going to be for me? What is it going to be for them? And we spend more energy on projecting what might happen than what actually might happen. So I would say clear your space, go into it with an open heart, and communicate without expectation, okay? One of the biggest lessons I learned in corporate America early on, and I thank one of my mentors for this, is that teaching me to go into a meeting unexpected. So for example, I was having conflict with a fellow employee. And so I would dread going into these meetings because I knew it was going to be a conflict. I just knew. I'm like, oh my gosh, 9 o'clock, I'd be sweating. I couldn't sleep the night before because I'd be projecting or I'd be expecting an outcome. Until I learned, go in fresh. Go in fresh. Don't go in expecting, because if I go in expecting that's the outcome I'm going to get, and it throws me way off. Go in with an open heart. And I would invite you, as you're working with family members or you're working in a work situation, go in fresh every day without expectation. And if it turns out you have that conflict, then so be it. But go in fresh, okay? Yes?
So I have accepted being a soul with a body rather than a body with a soul. And that being said, I don't look back, and I look back, if I look back, I just kind of go, oh.
To learn, right?
That was too bad, but being more of a soul, I don't see the need to go back and heal. So I don't know if I'm being naive or if I'm okay. I mean, I don't want to go back. I pretty much closed doors. It's like, it doesn't serve me. I'm looking forward. So I don't know if you're talking about, childhood healing. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't see the need to go back and do that.
And you're not alone in that. Some people don't have to go back to heal, but if it's a continual memory or it shows up or it prevents you from going forward, you do need to go back, and you do need to understand it and observe it. And I say suspend it. Take it from in here, out here, and look at it. Because that gives you perspective as to why you experienced it, what happened, and what do you want to do with it. So only if it's holding you back. And some people, some of us have stories that we continue to spin that hold us in the past, and that's not healthy. That is not healthy. That holds us there. But if you're looking at your stories, it's like I never go back and read a book twice. Is anyone? I have never gone back and read a book twice. And it's kind of in our life. It's like if something I need to process, I'll go back and I'll review it in order to propel me forward. But I won't sit in it. And I've noticed over the years that the more I'm able to suspend it, look at it, observe it, figure out what it was, and then take action on it, the faster I can get through that stuff. I'm not sitting on it for years at a time or a month at a time. Okay, great question. Yes?
Hi. I just feel really stuck. I don't know if you can see anything or anything to help me right now.
So the first thing I would say is change your language on that to say, I'm now moving forward. I'm not stuck. And it's okay. You might feel like, I just don't want to be where I am. That's where you start to talk to the universe that says, okay, universe, I'm tired of being where I am. I'm tired of feeling this. I'm going to start moving. And then get out and about and do the things that you like to do. Even if it's not related to, where are you stuck, can I ask? Is it in work?
No,
life?
every area, I just feel like I don't even know how to put words to it, just muck.
Yeah, I just want to check in. There might be others that also feel this, and this, leading up to this June energy, was all about shedding, and then starting to discover or reveal. It's like peeling an onion. It's like starting to reveal what brings you joy and happiness. And so if you haven't yet moved in that direction to discover what brings you joy and happiness, I can see where you would feel stuck, like I just don't like where I am right now. So start talking to the universe like it says, okay, I don't like where I am, now move me forward. Help me see where to go. And then be hyper aware of the messages that are coming to you in people. And I say hyper aware because sometimes we have an expectation as to how the messages are going to come. And hyper awareness is like be open to it all. Like when you leave today, be aware of signs, music, people that you interact with. Be hyper aware. Okay? Meditation is also, because your energy, you're not holding your energy. It's going out all over around you. Does that make sense? And there might be people around you that are taking it. So you need to find a way to hold your energy. Okay. All right, other questions? Yes?
So with these portals that we go through and experience, does the Earth herself go through it at the same time?
Yeah, that's the Schumann resonance
Can you
that's
say a
going
little
up
more
and
about what
down.
that is?
Yeah, so think about all the water. I know that there's places around the globe that are experiencing drought, but think about all the water. And we've had the wettest season or the wettest year in a long time. And that's so that the earth also can shift. So if you think about the vibration and the water content in our body and how sound and vibration works with that to shake it up, that's what's happening on the globe. So it is a double whammy. It is, but to get in water, drink water, get in water, would be really helpful. But the earth is always going through transformation. If we think that everything is status quo, it's not. It's always changing. And we have more scientific equipment. I just read yesterday that California has just installed more seismic meters, and they've actually measured 1,000 earthquakes like in the last week. And it's because technology is better. It's able to measure. Tennessee had 3 earthquakes this week, which they don't. So we have better equipment. It's not to say that it hasn't always been there, but we have better equipment now. We're more sensitive. Okay, I saw there was another hand up. Back, yes.
Good morning. Oh, should I do that?
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. I thought someone else was talking to me. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Quick question. My husband and I are currently living with my dad, and I feel like my mother was into metaphysics. She was into everything that's going on here, and I feel like I'm slowly morphing into my mother. Is that another portal that I'm going through?
Probably many people in this room could say, I'm turning into my parents, right? And words just come out. You know, and I believe that's a good thing for you. It's not you're turning into your mother. It's just that you're evolving. You're opening up more to the metaphysical, the spiritual realms. The understanding that you are more than the physical being. That you have this energetic, and I call them our bodies, because we focus on our physical body, but it's our energy body, our spiritual body, our mental body, our etheric body. We are energetic beings. And we have only been experiencing the physical, and we are stepping through these gateways to experience our other energy bodies. Okay? What I would say is that if anybody else is saying, I'm turning into my mom, or I'm turning into my dad, it's like you're going to take it to the next level. So look at it that way. It's like, I'm not turning into, I'm using all the good stuff, and I'm going to stack on top of it and take it further. Okay? And then you go. Yeah. All right, I think we have time for one more question. Here's one here.
My apologies to ask twice. May I ask about the energies of the racial disparities or the racial tension that's going on right now in the United States, well, across the world, and how we as individuals might be able to try and calm that? Or
It's to shine our light. It literally is deep ancestral, it's generational, it's shaking up, and it has to come out to be cleared. And you guys all signed up for this lifetime to help in that clearing, whether you think you did or not. You did. So it's time to just shake it loose and clear it out of the way. And we might not see all of it shift in our lifetime, but we're beginning to move it in that direction. There's old prophecies that talk about the 1,000-year masculine energy, and then North America, South America, the condor and the eagle energy coming together. And so in 2000, we began to shift into the feminine. So it could take hundreds of years to shift us in that direction. And sometimes it has to get really down and ugly and yucky before it shifts, right? We just want everything right now. Pardon? We do. We want the rainbows and the cotton candy and that kind of stuff, but it takes time and it takes work and it takes that willingness to change and to participate. So shine your light. And even if you can't do things in your mind as like large scale, shine your light where you are. All right. All right. I want to thank you for today. We do an offering, so we'll ask that to take place now.
Thank you so much,
And
Laurie.
I'll be here after to answer any questions also.
Great. Thank you so much, Laurie.
Look at this. We created a portal.
Yeah.
We did. So just take a moment and acknowledge the pulse in your hands and the connection that you have with that person that's next to you, the person to the right, the person to the left. Now notice the pulse that you feel in the bottoms of your feet. You might be hot, it might be tingling. Now notice the tingling or the pulsing that you feel at the top of your head. And as we step into these summer months and we walk through these gateways, we ask that Spirit, our guides and angels and loved ones that are always around us, that they give us clear messages. They help us on our journey. That we be provided those opportunities and those events in our lives that propel us forward, clearing away anything of the past that may be obstacles. That we be guided by our inner light. And that we be encircled with friends and family and loved ones that support us on this journey. Aho. So I have a dish of garnet up here. I was here last night doing an event, and I forgot them here, so you guys get to take them. There's a white dish that has little pebbles of garnet, and garnet is January birthstone, and oftentimes it's about new beginnings, but it's a deep heart stone, and so I'd like you just to take one. And sometimes with me, I encourage you to plant these stones, much like you would plant something about you and about what you want into the earth to grow. And I also have some cards here that have the 4 directions and the archangels and ways that you can connect to your angels and guides. So I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you, like Harriet, for supporting us in this group. And have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.